Thanks for checking out this video. So this is what is coming to Shudder for November, and some people may be a little bit let down as opposed to what they're getting in October because, Shudder goes much bigger in October, but there's still good stuff coming in November. So let's get into what's showing up. First of all, doing the Shudder original and exclusives, which if you don't know, on my channel, I always put out reviews for their originals and exclusives, sorry, ahead of time. It's usually on the Monday or Tuesday of the week that it's coming out, and their new stuff usually hits on like Thursdays. So just so you know, you can come here and get a no spoiler review for all these things before it comes out. So the first one is Dead and Beautiful, which is premiering November 4th. Now this one's for US, basically everyone. Everyone who can get Shudder in their area are getting it. Dead and Beautiful. 5 rich, spoiled Asian 20-somethings are suffering from upper-class ennui, unsure how to spend their days when so little is expected from them. In search for excitement, the 5 friends form the Circle, a group where they take turns designing a unique, extravagant experience for the others. But things go wrong when the privileged urbanites awaken after a night out to find they have developed vampire fangs and an unquenchable thirst for flesh, blood, and adventure at any price. Sounds fun. I'll be doing a review on that, obviously. The next one I'm very interested in because it's a type of film that we don't get a lot of as far as like new films coming out, and it's a shark film. It's called Great White, and it's coming November 11th, only for the US and Canada, unfortunately. A blissful tourist trip turns into a nightmare for 5 passengers when their seaplane goes down near a shipwreck. Stranded miles from shore in an inflatable life raft, they find themselves in a desperate fight for survival as they try to make it to land before they either run out of supplies or are taken by a menacing pack of sharks lurking just beneath the surface. Sounds interesting. I'm in. Then, coming November 19th, Prisoners of the Ghostland. This one's just for the US, UK, and Ireland. In the treacherous frontier city of Samurai Town, a ruthless bank robber, played by Nicolas Cage, by the way, is sprung from jail by a wealthy warlord, the Governor, played by Bill Moseley, whose adopted granddaughter, Bernice, has run away, strapped into a leather suit that will self-destruct within 5 days. If he doesn't find the missing girl, the bandit sets off on a journey to find the young woman and his own path to redemption. Sounds fun, plus Nicolas Cage. It should be fun. I'm in. Coming November 23rd, The Strings. This one's available for everyone who gets Shudder. In the dead of winter, Catherine, a talented musician who having recently broken up her successful band, travels to her aunt's remote coastal cottage to work on new material in solitude. Once there, she and local photographer Grace spark up a budding romance while visiting an abandoned farmhouse with a disturbing past. Soon after, strange and seemingly supernatural occurrences begin to manifest at the cottage, escalating each night and dangerously eroding Catherine's sense of reality. Sounds interesting. Then ongoing shows, these started in October and they're continuing to have one episode drop each week. That is the Boulet Brothers Dracula Season 4, which if you're not into it, you should get into it. It's a lot of fun. It's very interesting. And Behind the Monsters, which is that kind of documentary series about horror villain icons. That one is also really good and interesting, so get in on that. New additions to Shudder. Okay, so the following slew of films are coming on November 1st. Wait Until Dark. Now, all the ones I'm reading are only for the US, unfortunately. November 1st, Wait Until Dark. A recently blinded woman is terrorized by a trio of thugs while they search for a heroin-stuffed doll they believe is in her apartment. Kind of vague, but also sounds kind of interesting. I'm in. Blood on Satan's Claw. I'm excited this one's coming back. It was on Shudder for maybe like 2 months or something. I had meant to get around to watching it because I've heard good things. Now I can actually get to it, so I'm glad they're re-adding it. Blood on Satan's Claw. Horror thriller set in 17th century England about the children of a village slowly converting into a coven of devil worshippers. Sounds very cool. The Velvet Vampire. A newlywed couple is delighted to be invited to spend some time at their alluring neighbor's beautiful home, but the excitement quickly turns to horror when they discover that she is actually a predatory vampire. Makes sense. The Dark, a haunting and deeply intense atmospheric film about love, monsters, and revenge that is being compared to the spine-chilling Let the Right One In. Hmm. I mean, that intrigues me. I love Let the Right One In. The Closet. Following the death of his wife and disappearance of his daughter, a successful architect enlists the help of an exorcist to help him find his daughter. Not my thing, not my subgenre, but might be interesting to others. Prom Night. This is the first time Shudder will be having Prom Night on here, which is cool. A mass killer stalks 4 teenagers who were responsible for the accidental death of a little girl 6 years earlier at their high school's senior prom. It's a fun film. I saw it many years ago, so I'll probably revisit it. Then they're re-adding Hello, Mary Lou Prom Night 2. 30 years after her accidental death at her 1957 senior prom, the tortured spirit of prom queen Mary Lou Maloney returns to seek revenge. Seen it, might watch it again. And then Leatherface. A teenage Leatherface escapes from a mental hospital with 3 other inmates, kidnapping a young nurse and taking her on a road trip from hell while being pursued by a lawman out for revenge. Sounds fun. November 8th. The following ones are all coming November 8th. Tailgate. A cocksure road-raging man on a family road trip finds himself pursued and terrorized by a vengeful van driver he chooses to tailgate. I mean, that kind of sounds interesting. You don't get that many horror films that are about that, about road rage, so I'll check it out. The World of Kanako. As former detective Akikazu searches for his missing daughter, Kanako, he soon learns she has a mysterious secret life. That sounds interesting. The Visitor. An intergalactic warrior battles alongside a cosmic Christ figure against a demonic 8-year-old girl and her pet hawk as the fate of the universe hangs in the balance. That is a lot that is a lot to be thrown at you to process. That sounds insane. That sounds like it might be one of those like so bad it's good films. So I feel like I gotta check that out because that sounds so nutty. Yeah, I'm in. Then they're re-adding Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer again. Arriving in Chicago, Henry moves in with ex-con acquaintance Otis and starts schooling him in the ways of the serial killer. If you haven't seen it, it is disturbing, but it is a good film. Michael Rooker's awesome in it too. Darlin. Shout out to Christina Arntz, who is a subscriber of this channel, shows up to our watch parties, and she was in Darlin. So we might have to get her to do a watch party, maybe? And kind of host a watch party on this to talk about the film. That would be awesome. Throwing it out to you, Christina, if you see this. Found at a Catholic hospital, filthy and ferocious, feral teenager Darlin is whisked off to a care home run by the bishop and his obedient nuns, where she's to be rehabilitated into a good girl as an example of the miraculous work of the church. But Darlin holds a secret darker than the sins she is threatened with. The woman who raised her, equally fierce and feral, is ever present in the shadows of Darlin's psyche and is determined to come for her no matter who tries to get in her way. I've heard it's a good film. I haven't seen it yet. I need to. One film coming November 11th. That is Honeydew. Strange cravings and hallucinations befall a young couple after seeking shelter in the home of an aging farmer and her peculiar son. Not particular, peculiar. Okay. Now, the next slew of films are coming November 5th. Kill List. This has been on my list to see for a while. Nearly a year after a botched job, a hitman takes a new assignment with the promise of a big payoff for 3 killings. What starts off as an easy task soon unravels, sending the killer into the heart of darkness. Very interested in this one. Like I said, this one's been on my list. Next, A Dark Song. A determined young woman and a damaged occultist risk their lives and souls to perform a dangerous ritual that will grant them what they want. Could be interesting. The Hallow. A family who moved into a remote mill house in Ireland find themselves in a fight for survival with demonic creatures living in the woods. I like demonic creatures, so I may have to go for that one. The next one, I have seen this. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I know a lot of people who are, so you might want to check it out. Pyewacket. Feeling isolated and hopeless, Leah turns to black magic to release her anger. She naively performs an occult ritual found in a book on her bedroom shelf to invoke the spirit of a witch to kill her mother. Some people may find it good. The Isle. When 3 shipwrecked sailors land on an island abandoned except for 4 sole survivors, one sailor starts to question what happened on the island. He must uncover the truth while the battles to save his own life and escape while he battles to save his own life and escape the Isle. Interesting. Fender Bender. A teenage girl who just got her driver's license gets into her first fender bender, innocently exchanging information with an apologetic stranger, a serial killer who stalks the streets, hungrily searching for his next unsuspecting victim. That sounds very interesting. I'm in. November 16th, the following two films. The first one is being re-added, Blood Rage. As kids, Todd is institutionalized for a murder whilst his twin goes free. 10 years later, on Thanksgiving, Todd escapes and a killing spree begins in his neighborhood. It's ridiculous. It is so bad it's good. I recommend. And then the other one coming on November 16th, Aetheria Season One. I believe this is a show then. From post-apocalyptic westerns to demented comedies to terrifying horror and gore, Etheria serves up the perfect blend of mind-bending and panic-inducing excitement from the best emerging women genre directors in the world. Each episode showcases a vision of the fantastic in this new anthology series created to introduce amazing directors to devoted genre films. To genre fans, I'm sorry. So Etheria was a film festival of short films done by women, and I did cover the first one that was on Shudder last year. Yeah, last year. I didn't cover the one this year because Shudder never sent me a screener, even though I had asked for it. So it's I think it's still on Shudder. You can see that. So it looks like now they've picked it up to be an actual like show that they're going to be doing, and that's awesome. That's really cool. I'll definitely be checking that out. If I end up getting screeners for it, I can cover it as, you know, doing no spoiler reviews before the episodes come out, but we'll see. November 22nd, Exorcist 3 being re-added, because this was on Shudder before. A police lieutenant uncovers more than he bargained for as his investigation of a series of murders, which have all the hallmarks of the deceased Gemini serial killer, leads him to question the patients of a psychiatric ward. It is a pretty solid film. I mean, Brad Dourif in it is wonderful. Anyone who's seen it, I'm sure they agree with me. And then the last film coming November 29th, Wake in Fright. I think this one was on Shudder and then left and they're bringing it back, but I'm not 100%. A British school teacher's descent into personal demoralization at the hands of drunken, deranged derelicts while stranded in a small town in outback Australia. Sounds interesting. I would like to check it out. But I think that's also one that's been on my list for quite some time, so hopefully I get around to it. So what am I most excited for? I'm excited for them to re-add Blood Rage because my watch party group, we've talked about doing Blood Rage, so maybe we will make that a watch party, so you can check that out. Pretty interested, other than that, in Darlin, obviously. The Visitor, because it sounds ridiculous. Tailgate, because it sounds different and interesting. Watching Prom Night again, I believe. And Blood on Satan's Claws. Very excited for that. And obviously continuing with Behind the Monsters and Season 4 of the Boulet Brothers Dragula. Those are wonderful. And I'm always open to experiencing these new Shudder originals and exclusives that I will have those no spoiler reviews for. A lot of them end up being solid to really good. Sometimes they're stinkers, but I'll let you know if that happens. So what are you most excited about for November? Put it in the comments. Also, let me know your recommendations. What are some of the musts that you heard on there? Like, if you miss this one, you will regret it. So let me know down in the comments. Do me a quick favor as well. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. It really does keep me motivated. It is quick, painless, and it costs you $0. So there's really no reason not to do it unless you hate my channel, in which case, why are you watching? So throw me that love. Hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it. Also, you can hit the notification bell, and then you'll know when I'm putting up new videos, whether it's something like this, one of my in-depth movie reviews, one of my no-spoiler reviews, unboxings, opinion pieces, all that jazz. I'm doing a lot of videos, so. But anyway, regardless, I thank you for taking your time to check this out. And until next time, keep it brutal.